Hey, welcome. You're watching QPTV, Daily Social Live. I'm your host for today, James. This is going to be an interesting show. We're trying something a little different here in a lot of different ways. So you got to bear with me. Let's see. Today, we have a lot going on here. Hmm. Let's get started. A COVID 19 update. Go to qptv.org to access our COVID 19 resources panel. We have a ton of resources, information, links, and video, all on COVID 19, and especially COVID 19 in Queens. QPTV's own Queens Conversations and Queens Perspectives has an ongoing series of episodes focusing on COVID in Queens. Go to qptv.org to check it all out. This is from the National Weather Service. A wind advisory remains in effect from 4 p.m. this afternoon to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Tuesday. Northwest winds 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour expected. Gusty winds could blow around unsecured objects. Tree limbs could be blown down and a few power outages may result. And due to snow melt and recent rainfall, some tree root systems may be somewhat compromised, potentially leading to some uprooted trees. Use extra caution when driving and please secure outdoor objects. Save the date as Borough President Donovan Richards will deliver his first State of the Borough address. Make sure you watch here Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021 at 6 p.m. on Spectrum 79/1998, RCN 83, and on FiOS 35. And of course, you can watch here on QPTV.org. To vaccinate or not to vaccinate? That is the question. A town hall on vaccine concerns. It's a town hall to discuss a town hall discussion to answer your COVID 19 vaccine concerns. The to be or not to be soliloquy comes from William Shakespeare's play Hamlet, circa 1601, and is spoken by Prince Hamlet. To vaccinate or not to vaccinate? Please join the Queen's Chamber of Commerce's not-for-profit committee and the Health and Wellness Committee on a town hall-style webinar on March 4th, 2021, beginning at 11 a.m. We'll provide real-time information about the coronavirus vaccines and offer an opportunity to have your questions and concerns addressed. Watch here on qptv.org. March is Women's History Month. Women's History Month had its origins as a national celebration in 1981 when Congress passed Public Law 97/28, which authorized and requested the president to proclaim the week beginning March 7th, 1982 as Women's History Week. Throughout the next 5 years, Congress continued to pass joint resolutions designating a week in March as Women's History Week. In 1987, after being petitioned by the National Women's History Project, Congress passed Public Law 100-9, which designated the month of March 1987 as Women's History Month. Between 1989 and 1994, Congress passed additional resolutions requesting and authorizing the President to proclaim March of each year as Women's History Month. Since 1995, presidents have issued a series of annual proclamations designating the month of March as Women's History Month. These proclamations celebrate the contributions women have made to the United States and recognize the specific achievements women have made over the course of American history in a variety of fields. We'll be bringing you much more on women's history all month on QPTV. We're back. Let me get things in order here. Yes, Behind the Conversations. Queen's Conversations is a live talk show featuring QPTV's award-winning... Oh, am I still muted? Let me check here. No. I have to check. Okay. Let me start over. Queen's Conversations is the live talk show featuring QPTV's award-winning production and hosting team, Lucia Dragos, Noran Omar, and John Collins, having discussions with a diverse spectrum of Queens residents and leaders. Every topic is incredibly relevant, and every discussion is enlightening. Now, we should all enjoy a feeling of pride when we hear that Queens is one of the most diverse boroughs in our nation. Every day, many people of many races, religions, and countries of origin live and work here in harmony with each other. And we wondered, however, if Queens was always such a melting pot of a community. For this episode of Queens Conversations, we decided to look back at the recent history of our borough and tell the story of its transformation as Queens adapted to substantial changes in our economy, society, and population. Naturally, we reached out to the Queens Historical Society for some insights. Branka Duknik, Executive Director, offered to explore the recent history of our borough and highlight some significant places to visit that exemplify how Queens has grown. We really hope that you will tune in for this episode for Queens Conversations. And you can find out more about this episode if you go to qptv.org and look for this episode. Our live show airs on Thursdays at 3 p.m. on Spectrum Channel 34 or 1995, Verizon Channel 34, and RCN Channel 82. And we're also streaming the show live on Facebook, where you can submit your questions during the show. And until that, here's a preview of the latest episode from the other week. Creatives Navigates COVID. Go to qptv.org/QC to see more of Queen's Conversations.
everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Queen's Conversations and today's episode, Creatives Navigating COVID. My name is Lucia Dragos.
I'm John Collins.
Hi, everyone. I'm Narayan Omar.
And we have five incredible guests today. I'll let them introduce themselves briefly, and then we'll start with some questions. So let's go ahead with Jill. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks, Lucia. Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon. My name is Philip Capadora, and I'm the founder and president of the Astoria Filmmakers Club. And we are a nonprofit public charity filmmaking organization that actually focuses on bringing filmmakers together so that they could collaborate independently throughout New York City on their own projects. And we started out as just a simple networking table conversation every Wednesday night type of a meetup, and slowly but surely over 100 people showed up before New Year's of 2020, and then we just we boomed. A lot of people wanted to collaborate. They wanted to actually take this and grow it into something more, and I thought it was a great idea. So we did. We became a nonprofit in February, right before the pandemic, and of course the pandemic slowed everybody down. But with a lot of grind and a fantastic podcast, we persevered, and by September, we became a 501c3.
Eitan.
Thank you.
My name is Eitan Mirsky, and I'm a singer and songwriter. And I'm probably best known for the songs that I did for the film Happiness, directed by Todd Solondz, American Splendor, which was nominated for a Best Screenplay Oscar, and The Tao of Steve, in which I had 3 songs in there. And I've had songs in some other films. And then I do my own music. I'm working on my 8th album right now.
Amazing. Ariel, can you please tell us about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Ariel Polanco, and I'm a dancer and stage actor. I perform with a handful of companies in the city. The Vissy Dance Theater is one of them, who just came off a tour early January last year. Also perform with the Russian Arts Theater and Studio, as well as Blessed Unrest. And yeah, that's what I've done so far.
Great. Adrian?
Adrian Whaley. I'm the founder and the executive director for Queens Underground Black and Brown Film Festivals. We're a 501c3 as well. And we started out as a physical studio space where we had open mic nights with dance, poetry, we had movie nights, and it transformed into a film festival that has everything. So we have movies, music, dance, poetry, videos, web series episodes, business commercials, documentaries, podcasts, talk shows, the whole bit. And ours is coming up February 20th, which is Saturday, is going to be free Facebook Live.
So let's take a look back at, here we go. So we have, again, Queen's Conversations this week. Queens Then and Now, live Thursday, 3 p.m. on QPTV and QPTV.org. Go to QPTV.org to get all the information. Queen's Perspectives spotlight on the legendary Keith David. And you know who I'm talking about when I say Keith David. He's got that voice. He's a silver throat. Celebrate Black History Month with Queens Public Television as TV host Rosalyn Nieves spotlights the legendary Keith David. Let's see if we can get a little preview of that. Let's set this up. It was set up before, but I did have some issues, technical issues, but that's, I always say, the fun of this sort of program. The live show for the website. Okay. Keith David is not on the playlist. Okay, we're gonna have to move on then. Let's take a look at the situation we have with NASA. We'll skip ahead past a couple seconds. How it looks to land on Mars, previewing. Oh, I'm sorry. I said NASA. I'm looking at the newsletter. The newsletter. Okay. Go to qptv.org/newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. Subscribe so you can get all the updates on this show. Maybe we'll have some sort of blooper reel that includes the bloopers that were all on the stream. Go to qptv.org/newsletter to get all the information. Sign up and you'll know where it's not something that we've abandoned. It's quite frequent and it's not spam. We let you know everything that's going on with us. So if you're wondering when we're having classes, if you're wondering what it takes, what's required, whether we're open, whether we're closed, whether we're going to be open later on, all those things you'll find out in QPTV's newsletter. Go to the website. It's all there. Let's jump ahead to NASA like I had planned originally. So this week at NASA, how it looks to land on Mars, previewing space station spacewalks, and supplies and cargo delivered for the station crew. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA.
How it looks to land on Mars, previewing space station spacewalks and supplies and cargo delivered for the station crew. A few of the stories to tell you about this week. Newly released high-definition videos captured by cameras on board our Mars 2020 Perseverance rover show the final 7 miles of the spacecraft's entry, descent, and landing on Mars. The uniquely amazing views, including the look down at the separation of a protective heat shield and the upward views during deployment of the most massive parachute ever sent to another world,
are the closest you can get to landing on Mars without putting on a pressure suit.
While a microphone on the rover did not collect any usable data during the landing after Perseverance touched down, it did pick up mechanical sounds made by the rover operating on the surface and even a few audible seconds of a Martian breeze. Also released with the videos and audio was the first panorama of the rover's landing location taken by the 2 navigation cameras on its mast. These were all followed up 3 days later with the release of the rover's first complete high-definition look at its surroundings, a 360-degree panorama from its mast cam Z instrument. Perseverance will use its suite of instruments to search for signs of past microbial life, collect and leave samples of rock and soil for our future mission to bring back to Earth, and test technologies to help pave the way for future human exploration of Mars. Find out more at nasa.gov/perseverance. We previewed 2 International Space Station spacewalks during a February 24th briefing at our Johnson Space Center. During the first spacewalk on February 28th, our Kate Rubins and Victor Glover will prep for solar array upgrades later this year. Rubins will then go back outside on March 5th with Japan's Soichi Noguchi to vent ammonia from the station's thermal control system along with other tasks. The Northrop Grumman SS Katherine Johnson Cygnus cargo spacecraft arrived at the space station February 22nd, 2 days after launching from our Wallops Flight Facility. It delivered about 8,000 pounds of scientific research, crew supplies, and hardware to the station. The spacecraft is named after late NASA mathematician Katherine Johnson, one of the women featured in the book and movie Hidden Figures, who made significant technical contributions to some of NASA's earliest and most historic spaceflights. On February 26th, our NASA headquarters building in Washington, D.C. was officially named in honor of Mary W. Jackson, the agency's first African-American female engineer, who was also featured in Hidden Figures. Acting NASA Administrator Steve Jerzik led the ceremony, joined by Jackson's family and other special guests, with the on-site attendance limited due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic.
3, 2, 1.
The ceremony featured the unveiling of a building sign with Jackson's name and several video tributes, including poet Nikki Giovanni reading from her poem, Quilting the Black-Eyed Pea, which is about space and civil rights. Learn more about the contributions of Jackson, Katherine Johnson, and other NASA hidden and modern figures at nasa.gov/modernfigures. Our Parker Solar Probe captured some surprising views of Venus during a close flyby in July 2020. The image shows Aphrodite Terra, the largest highland region on the Venusian surface. The team is surprised because, based on the imaging device's capabilities, they only expected to see clouds, not clear down to the planet's surface. They are now trying to determine if the imager has unforeseen capabilities, which would provide new opportunities to study dust around the sun and in the inner solar system. The mission focuses on the sun, but it makes several passes of Venus using the planet's gravity to help it fly closer and closer to the sun. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
And we'd also like you to take a look. Watch Queens virtually celebrate Black History Month. You can take a look back and see what Black History Month was like. And of course, you want to make Black history every month or whatever the saying is. It's important to know, and we're happy to bring this content to you whenever you want to see it. Go to qptv.org/Black History. But if you go to qptv.org right now, you can watch this Black History Month celebration, virtual celebration, hosted by Queensboro President Richards. It's right here on qptv.org. And with that, also, if you're going to be taking a look at that, you'll also want to take a look at Queen's Perspectives, ENN Episode 2, Rosalind Nieves and Rodney Cummins will celebrate Black History Month. They'll talk with 4-time Grammy Award recipient Chapman Roberts, who will celebrate the life of the legendary actress Cicely Tyson. And Rodney will interview true creative Jaquan Busy Amore Williams. You don't want to miss it. In fact, I'll be happy to bring you a clip. If we can get it to go today, I'll be happy to show you a clip of that right now.
We need some help, because they hadn't asked anybody to be a minder at the funeral. So the ushers at the Catholic Church on Park Avenue, 92nd and Park, didn't know who anybody was. And so they knew that I would know. And so I took care of Vanessa Williams and Jesse Norman and Gil Noble, Dionne Warwick, Leslie Uggams, Diane Carroll. And Miss Tyson came up the stairs and looked at me as though she knew who I was, and I know she didn't recognize me from that many years ago. And I said, oh, okay, her too. And I went and sat her there. So that was the next time we encountered. When we did Black Stars of the Great White Wave, which Norm Lewis and I produced at Carnegie Hall, we honored Stephen Bird, who's the most prominent Broadway producer that we know of right now. And he wanted Cicely Tyson to present the Black Stars of the Great White Way Award to him. And I said, fine, whoever you want, it's your award. And he then said, and I want you to write her speech. I said, okay, I'll do that. And I wrote the speech. Well, it came time for her to come on stage at Carnegie Hall. And I went into the wings and I said to her, how would you like to be introduced? And she said, just say, please welcome Miss Cicely Tyson. And as I was walking back to the podium, that little devil on my shoulder said, you know, I'm not going to do that. And I went to the podium and I said, I'm not going to tell you who the next person you're going to meet is, but I'm sure you will be pleased when they arrive. And I went and I opened up those awesome doors, you know, at Carnegie Hall, when they open so mysteriously and you don't know who's behind it. And I opened the door and she walked out and she put her arm in my arm and she said under her breath, I didn't hear my name. But
that's just like you. That's just like you, Chapman. That's just like you, Chapman. What happened next?
And there was, of course, tumultuous applause.
So, thanks again for tuning in to Daily Social Live from QPTV. This is a short show, and it's not as an in-depth show as we would usually like. It's a trial and error. In fact, we haven't gone out of our way to promote the show because we're still working out a lot of the bugs. We're working out the workflow. We're working on the content, working on putting it all together, but we can't do it unless we put something into action. So I'm very happy to bring this show to you however way we can bring it. And if I have to do it from my phone, I'll do it, because it's informative, and we have to keep this process going because we're all about you. We're all about bringing you this information, and we're all about facilitating community media, facilitating your voice, your ability to get your message out to your neighbors and to your family and to your friends, and to really influence and impact your own community. And I can't think of any place where you can have that type of freedom and that capability than through QPTV, Queens Public Television. So we can't do this without you. And in fact, we are here for you. We want you to become part of our in real life social network. Go to qptv.org to find out how to watch, learn, and create with QPTV. Tell your friends about us, share and subscribe. Stay safe and be well.